You may be seated. Honored members, I will now invite ATM, African Transformation Movement, Honorable Mambofu, to take the podium and address the sitting for 9 minutes. Ningamqwabela. Your 9 minutes, honored member, is starting now.
Thank you, Honorable Deputy Speaker. Let me take this opportunity and greet everyone present here today, including all the guests that we have, the honorable members. Let me just say, protocol observed. Honorable Deputy Speaker, uluvuyo nokhuluma ngokumbani ndizoma apha kule podium namhlanje on behalf of abantu base-Eastern. Ndihleli phaphansi ndibukele kukhona into ethethayo apha kum into yokuba le nto ubani ubizwa ngayo kuthiwa ngu-honorable peace funeka kuvela ixesha layo ngoku. Ndiyivile ke umzela ixesha ndizayo kuthiwa honorable peace. Thank you for that. Honorable Deputy Speaker, mandiqale ngokuthi siyathakasela kakhulu elixesha elizayo likufutshane esesishiywe izinyanga ezimbalwa balifike apha eMzantsi Afrika, because lizele ukuzohlambulula inhliziyo zabantu baseMzantsi Afrika, especially abalapha e-Eastern Cape. Ndicela ukuba ndingene kwintetho yakhe Honorable Premier. Ndithi Honorable Premier, sikuvile kwintetho yakho yobume bephondo lase-Eastern Cape. Emaphepheni njengoba businikile sava nasemlonyeni wakho uba besikhona apha ngokweziqu ngosuku lakho olukhulu. But into esithanda ukuba masiyithethe nesixakekisileyo njengoba sihleli nje singabantu bemi boMzantsi nabalapha e-Eastern Cape kukuba uninzi lwezinto obuzichaza pha akuyiyo thina lento siyibonayo on the ground. Singabantu balapha e-Eastern Cape sibona izinto ezichaseneyo nezinto obuzithetha kwaba zide sangathi uthetha nabantu belinye ilizwe. Lento ke mandiyithethe ngokungafihlisiyo because I'm here standing on behalf of the people who mandated me to come on their behalf in this podium. It's a matter personal. Eliphondo lase-Eastern Cape lelinye lona amaphondo ayaziyo lento kuthiwa yinhlupheko. So immediately sithetha phambi kwabo funeka sazi basithethe ebantwini abanhliziyo ezikrazukileyo because of inhlupheko abangayibaliselwa abaphila phakathi kwayo. So andifuni kakhulu nokungena kwinto ethi mandibe ngena kwidabi lamagama kuba obubomi abantu balapha e-Eastern Cape abaphilayo bayabuva ezimpilweni zabo. Izithethe ke ziyayibonisa lento ukuba abantu balapha e-Eastern Cape bafana nje nabantu abangamabanjwa enhlupheko. Abayixelelwa ke loo nto. You cannot go and tell them. They are feeling it. That's why sibona kusenzeka into ezingaqhelekanga apha kweli phondo. Sithetha na ke crime ephezulu. It is estimated that more than 60% of the population yale province is living in poverty. And nathi ke singamangqina ungaphuma ngoku kukhalwa zonke ikona zonke indawo abantwana banguvanzi bagcwele iprovince le baphethwe inhlupheko. Iyo lento sesi nabantwana esibabiza uba bangamaphara. Awuyonto ezenzekelayo yenziwa inhlupheko lanto. And uba ngaba siyayibalekela ukuba masiyi-addresse iyothetha ukuthi sibalekela irresponsibility yokuba simandithwe ngabantu basi-addresse izinto zenhlupheko yabo. Asikuva ke Honorable Premier ubeka ngokucacileyo ukuba wenze ntoni ngale meko. Instead yokuba sikuve sisesibone nje umzekelo umuntu omnye omphakamisayo okanye babe babini, while imajority yabantu balapha lapha eEastern Cape besenhluphekweni. Ngathi yambona ke ngoku lo muntu amnye abanye babini baphakanyisiweyo kuthiwa benzelwe izinto. What about the majority of the people? Sicinga ukuba ke seso sizathu esibangela uba sibone le crime eyenzekayo kweli lizwe. Abantu balapha sebephelelwe lithemba. Abasenathemba abantu. Abalapha eEastern Cape. Inyaniso yiyo ezawukhulula eli lizwe. Inyaniso yiyo ezokuba sisixazululo sokukhululwa kwabantu elizweni. Alikho ilizwe lingakhiwa ngezimpi. Noba zizimpi zamagama zentetho. Once abantu babesempini, for sure, abanoba nayo ipower kwilizwe. Uba ningabuyela elulawulweni kuzawuba worse. Xa usithi Premier wena ngokwakho ufuna ongqowankulu kube ngaba bazawuthatha indawo phaya ezilalini apho inhlupheko ibhoke khona. Ndikuvile naxa uthetha ngabantwana abangabalapha eEastern Cape abagcwalisa oThekwini kwezinye iprovinces. Umbuzo ingaba abantwana banyanya amakhaya abo yintoni lobangela ukuba abantwana bagcwale phaa kweza province? Yinhlupheko ayikho enye into. Yiyo ke ngoku lento Premier ndikuhloniphile Premier wami kaba ndizama uba ndithethe nje amagama angazi uba offensive. Ukuba ngaba i-issue ye-crime apha kweli lizwe ayizuqwalaselwa, ithetha uba eli lizwe liya kwisimo sokuba likolapse. Abantu ke le nto ndiyithethayo bayiqonda phaya ekuhlaleni. Sihlala kwiimeko apha abantu baphelelwe lithemba, Premier. And God is just watching.
1 minute.
The issue of crime is becoming worse once umuntu alambe. Once umuntu alambe, aweke unokuyiqonda. Once umuntu alambe nje, isimilo siyaqalisa ukushintsha. Londo inyaniso kaThixo umdali leyo. Once bahlekiswa abantu, ithetha uba kuzanywa ukushintsha ingqondo zabo mabakhohlakale. That's why kukhona icrime kweli lizwe.
30 seconds.
Isenhlizweni zabantu abandithumileyo. Abantu base-Eastern Cape okokoko belindile bemamele izithembiso ezisoloko zithethwa. The areas in the Eastern Cape
As you conclude, Honorable Member.
which are ranked in the top 3 highest crime as revealed in the crime statistics for this 4th quarter of the last final year of 2022 and 23 includes abantu basemampondweni elisikisiki, abantu basemthatha, nabantu baseNelson Mandela kweliphondo. Ubungaya phaya izinto ezenzekayo ziyasho uba lento siyithethayo injengoba beyifilisha.
Thank you very much, Honourable Member. Your time is up. Nkosi, Nkokeli. Thank you very much. Honourable Mampofu, thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much,
Honourable members, just before I invite the next speaker, let me formally now table this ruling. This ruling is about a point of order with respect to Rule 97, called by Chief Whip of the official opposition. Honourable members, I've been called upon to make a ruling following a point of order raised by Honourable Von Brockenroder, relying on Rule 97, subsection 1, alleging that the multi-party Whips Committee took a decision that there will be no motions entertained in the House today. Rule 97.3, subsection 1A, provides that, I quote, the Whips Committee must arrange the business in the order paper as it may deem fit, close quote. Honourable members, the multi-party Whip Committee, which sat on the 20th of February 2024, the following recommendations were made. Rule 186, subsection 1, provide that questions for oral reply are taken as the first order on a Wednesday. It is brought to the attention of the committee that no questions for oral reply have been scheduled for the 28th February 2024. And the only item on the day is the reply by the Premier to the SOPA debate. It is an established parliamentary convention that there is no other matter, including member statements, that must appear on the order paper on the day when the Premier replies to the SOPA debate. The question now is whether the Whips Committee resolved that no motion will be entertained today, which is the 27th of February 2024. Honourable members, as may be clear from the above recommendations, the reference is specifically made to Wednesday, 28th February 2024. All three of these recommendations are interrelated and makes no reference to today. Tuesday, the 27th February 2024, and accordingly, the responsible office were informed by the Office of the Democratic Alliance itself that there will be no motion from the latter today. Further interactions have also been done before the staff supporting the Whips Committee, Chief Whip of the Legislature and the Chief Whip of the official opposition, and it has been clarified that the decision was that there will be no motions, albeit not included in the presentation in the Whips Committee as it's their convention. I therefore find the point of order raised by Honourable Chief Whip of the DA not sustainable or is not sustained. And I therefore, honourable members, hand down my ruling. Thank you very much. I will now invite the African National Congress, Honourable Konza, to take 13 minutes of discussion on the subject matter. Honourable Konza.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Honourable Deputy Speaker, let me greet you for starters, the Honourable Premier, the Honourable Chief Whip, Honourable members of the Executive Council, Honourable members of the House, Chair of Chairs, esteemed guests, and everybody in the House. I greet you all in the name of the African National Congress. Honourable Deputy Speaker, as I stand before you in my capacity not only as a member of this august House, but also as a member of the governing party, the African National Congress, which has led this government for the last and past 30 years, I stand here to endorse and emphasize that this government's commitment in enforcing interventions towards alleviating poverty through comprehensive social security programs and consolidation of the social wage through reliable and quality basic services is a reality and a commitment that we live up to. The liberation struggle for South Africa against the clutches of apartheid was long and costly. That is why, Honorable Deputy Speaker, that the 27th of April 1994 was not only a milestone for the ANC and its followers, but for the whole populace, as everyone was freed from both the mindset and action. With 19.7 million citizens casting their votes in the first national democratic elections that ushered the change we are continuing to craft, to protect, and to deliver. This was not an ordinary milestone, honorable members. Towards its achievement, scars of degradation of a race were deep. Landlessness that robbed the indigenous people of their dignity and their means of survival, basically land, was legitimized, leaving them beggars in their own land. This callous act was mischievously institutionalized and inscripted through laws in favor of one race against the other. Ukuphucwa komuntu omnyama ubuntu nesidima sakhe kwabiyelwa ngemithetho. Kwaqanyangelwa kuqinisekiswa ukuba iingcambu zako ziyamiliselwa ukuze kube ngenkankulu ukuzincuthula. Lento ingqinwa nazezinye izizwe eziyingqinayo lenkohlakalo neziyibonayo ziyivume. Mamela nangu umzekelo ophilayo. For over 3 centuries, the inhuman treatment deepened with laws reviewed to entrench in South Africa and deeper in other areas was once narrated to me in a particular event. In 2013, and this is the event, on the 22nd of May to be exact, I had a privilege of listening to Councillor Harold van der Kraan of Kapellen, in the Kapellen municipality in Belgium, in their occasion of hosting a yearly Nelson Mandela Expo that they invited us as the municipality to. I could not help but marvel in the way he described where South Africa had been before 1994. If I could use his direct words, he reminded the gathering that under apartheid, blacks were offered the lowest paid jobs, that they were cast out of a sound education with a gigantic illiteracy as a result, that they were assigned separate territories in their own land where they were treated as foreigners, and that the average white South African earned 8 times more than the black one. Honorable Deputy Speaker, this is a history we will narrate again and again and again as we strive to change the lives of our people for the better. We will narrate it until those that act blind, and even here in this house, and deaf, begin to ascribe to the truth that South Africa will never be the same again. And the ANC alone lives to that truth. Honorable members, the recent State of the Province address ushered by our own Premier is a commitment to redress this state of affairs. He recommitted on advancing social transformation through the 7 pillars that many speakers are going to talk on, and others have already done so. He recommitted on advancing them and ensuring that the mandate from Abantu Belikhaya Lengwele, many of which have been exhausted enough by the speakers, are fulfilled. We can all see strides taken in improving the performance of our education system and vouchsafe the investment made in this field. I am stealing on this, Honorable MEC Carter, knowing that there will be a debate fully on this. but with the belief that when you talk social wage, you talk also of the investment that is made in the mind and the lives of our people. We are also witnesses to what you said, Honorable Premier, when you describe building a healthier Eastern Cape, evidenced by state-of-the-art hospitals and clinics having been built in our presence and with others being on the pipeline. Again, Honorable Matt, I know you are going to talk on this, but health is our apex priority. This is inclusive of the rehabilitation and revamping of existing infrastructure. If you want to build and invest on improving the lives of the people, invest in the infrastructure that surrounds them. The ANC recognizes and welcomes and also appreciates the continued recognition, Honorable Premier, of excellent dedication of Eastern Cape patriots like Comrades Makupula, Comrade Kojana, and Comrade Soisile Nuk, and others before them, that the province continues to profoundly honor. History not inscribed, honorable members, is history forgotten. And I think profoundly, and even on behalf of the families of these leaders, we must say that our heritage is going to be preserved. Thank you for this progressive legislature, and thank you for the thought and the action. Honorable members, in its commitment to alleviate poverty, the ANC-led government has consolidated its social wage through the provision of basic services by introducing poverty reduction initiatives and matters of social protection. In addition to the already stated commitments and initiatives, there are attempts that have been implemented for vulnerable households and individuals through social grants, through social relief of distress, food gardens, community nutrition development centers, Siyazondla program, and other food security programs, with the latter aimed at enabling communities to produce food in their own households and backyards. You know, sometimes it worries us when people are going to tell us about how to tilt land, yet they arrived in this country with us tilting the land. And what they did was to take it from us instead. Now they are teaching us on how to deal with the issue of tilting land, yet the land is still in their hands. It is just an irony. One can't overemphasize that since the inception of these initiatives, the number of individuals accessing food through the social development community nutrition centers has gradually increased to more than 80,000. Of these, 28,754 benefited in the 6th term only. Similarly, more than 350,000 deserving households accessed the food security programs, of which about 30,000 benefited during this 6th term. So we are not telling stories, we are not telling lies. There are facts to prove what we say. Honorable guests, the ANC-led government in the province adopted a provincial integrated anti-poverty strategy, wherein 16 of the poorest wards were identified as a pilot for the implementation of that strategy. Those wards have since been increased to 39 across the local municipalities and the 2 metropolitans in this province. Is that not proof enough that we care and invest in our people? In 2022, census recorded the Eastern Cape province as having a population of 7.2 million, which is an increase from 2011 and a 17.6% increase from 1996. As it stands, the Eastern Cape has a high grant dependency rate, and as such, 2.8 million is paid to social grants, and even more than that. Our efforts as a caring government need to be appreciated as we revitalize families and provide psychosocial support for stable and sustainable communities. Kuthethwa ngecrime. What is not said is what the government does when crime affects the families. The efforts that we go to rehabilitate those families and to ensure that they get again in the mainstream of society. Those truths are not said. It has to be mentioned that our provincial government has offered family members and individuals in our society to benefit to the effect that, 1, 334 family members benefited from family preservation service. 2,216 family members reunited with their families. 782, 100,000 people were reached through substance abuse prevention programs. 46,425 people accessed funded prevention and early intervention programs. These are factual realities. This is truth, documented and can be accessed by anyone. Honorable Deputy Speaker, it would be amiss of me to speak of social security, and not mention ex-miners or ex-workers or ex-mine workers. The Eastern Cape Province has worked tirelessly to support ex-mine workers, and those compensations include the following. 18,618 ex-mine workers have been compensated on occupational diseases. Companies that process these are MBOD, that is the Medical Bureau for Occupational Diseases, and Chiamiso Trust and Kubeka Trust. 5,499 ex-mine workers have been paid for unemployment insurance fund by the Department of Employment and Labor. All these are a proof of what Mal Fletcher once said, that lasting solutions to many social problems will be found only as we each learn to say, I am society. We need to be inclusive in solutions, not only be stone throwers. In closing and landing, Honorable Speaker, rushing towards the end, the Honorable President of the African National Congress and the Republic of South Africa, His Excellency, President Cyril Ramaphosa, has, in accordance with Section 49, subsection 2 of the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa, read with Section 17 of the Electoral Act of 1998, determined 29th May 2024 as the date for the general and national elections. Time for stories, lies, and cheap politicking is over.
Yes.
We, as the African National Congress, therefore urge all citizens of this great country to go and vote and do the right thing. Thank
you. Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Konza. I will now invite Dr. Notsi from the Democratic Alliance for 10 minutes discussion on the subject matter.
Thank you, Honourable Deputy Speaker. Honourable Deputy Speaker, Honourable Premier, members, guests in the gallery, good afternoon. Honourable Deputy Speaker, after the State of the Province address on Thursday, it is clear that local government in the Eastern Cape is in a much worse state than the Premier can care to admit. Let's just keep this in mind. In terms of the province's constitutional mandate, a constitution which is arguably the most progressive in the world, a constitution with a Bill of Rights which is the cornerstone of our democracy, we've got two responsibilities, mainly as local government. Firstly, assist, Section 154, or intervene, in terms of Section 139, when we see that our local municipalities need that assistance or is in distress. But I want to mention some things that are unacceptable in terms of the true state of local government in the Eastern Cape. It is absolutely unacceptable that we've got 16 out of our 39 local municipalities that are financially unsustainable. That is nearly half of our municipalities. It is absolutely unacceptable that we've got 5 municipalities under administration for a prolonged period of time, including Enoch and Kajima, which is under national administration, a national administration which has failed. It has not just failed, it also cost 12 million rand. We are also in a situation where that specific municipality paid employees on an incorrect grade for a prolonged period of time, costing 100 million rand. Imagine what could have been done with 100 million rand in terms of service delivery for our people. It is absolutely unacceptable that 3 out of our 6 district municipalities are under administration. That is half of the district municipalities in the province. And it is completely unacceptable, Honourable Deputy Speaker, that during our debates on the annual plan for our municipalities, the Honourable MEC came to this podium stating that out of 194 interventions over the past years, that it has resulted in zilch. Honourable Deputy Speaker, that is an indictment on ANC governance, not just in this country, but in this province. It is admitting that you failed and that the people of the Eastern Cape that are living in these broken and failing municipalities cannot expect you to assist them and to intervene when they need it the most. It is tantamount to saying that the provisions of our constitution that we value so much, that is there to assist these municipalities and to intervene in these municipalities, are not worth the paper that it is written on. That is what you are saying. Then to say that only nationalist and regional governance can trump that. If nationalism and regionalism was so great, why out of 257 municipalities in South Africa are 32 under administration, 66 dysfunctional, and only 27 regarded as stable? Answer me that. It is unacceptable that in this year's SOPA, the only thing that the Premier could praise local government for was the fact that 28 municipalities managed to spend, and I should put in brackets, only 60% of the infrastructure grants. When it comes to infrastructure grants, every single cent must be spent. Except for the fact that that was the only thing that you could come up with. It is not even something to boast about. Please don't come to this podium, honourable members, and say that everything is good and well when it comes to local government in the Eastern Cape, because that is just simply not true. This is the very core of our responsibility in this province when it comes to local government, the sphere of government closest to the people. Everything that happens in the sphere of government has a very real and lasting impact on the welfare of everybody that lives in this province. When it comes to the basics, to water provision, to sanitation provision, to decent roads, to electricity provision, you have to get the basics right. Our people and their welfare must at all times be first, not zilch. Not cadres, not bloated administrations, not jobs for pals. For the wheels of local government to start turning, we have to rescue the Eastern Cape from complete collapse. And there are a few things that we can focus on to get that done. We must end load shedding, or at least find a way to mitigate the effects of load shedding. It is the biggest and most significant threat to the people of South Africa and to their social and economic stability. It has swallowed entire families in poverty. Since the start of load shedding, it is estimated that 650,000 people have already lost their jobs. We have to end the continuous problems of accessibility to water. And I take the point that more people have access to water. Access to water only means that water will come out of the tap when you open that tap. It is unacceptable that communities in the Eastern Cape sometimes go without water, not for hours, not for days, but for weeks on end. And that is because of the collapse of infrastructure, water and sanitation infrastructure in this province. We have to abolish cadre deployment in its entirety. People must be appointed that are qualified, that are fit for purpose. At this stage, cadre deployment has diminished the capacity of the state to such an extent that you are now unable to deliver even the most basic of services. We have to root out corruption and ensure that it is money that is spent for the people, is meant for the people, is spent on the people. We have to ensure that we preserve and support our small towns, that we create permanent jobs and deliver effective services. This is where the most significant impact can be made. The people of the Eastern Cape deserve better. When the sphere of government closest to the people fails, everybody suffers. In conclusion, Honourable Deputy Speaker, effective and capable government and governance can improve the lives of all South Africans. And the decisions and actions of government must be aimed at delivering these services to all our people. It is clear that South Africa, and judging by the state, the true state of this province, it needs rescuing. But rest assured, and rescuing from ANC governance, and rest assured, the DI is here to do the rescuing.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Honorable Knotzi. I will now invite EFF, Honorable Werner. You can start, Honorable Member. Please switch on your mic. Ibicinyong ba? Kanincedeni bantawethu konzima.
Thank you very much, Speaker, Deputy Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member.
Umnake andilogwala ndilwa njengenkedama. Ndilwa ndoyame ngedonga wonke umuntu abengapha. Thanks, Speaker, Deputy Speaker. Asizubabade yonke lemizuzu yethu. Asizumane sikhalaza ke kunyanzelekile njengombutho ozawuphatha in 3 months time ukuthi ke sibeke ukuthi lo rhulumente umtsha uzayo we-EFF ukuthi uzawufocusa kweziphi na izigigaba. I-EFF wena Deputy Speaker ibe ne successful event ngapha eThekwini, ayabhasa abantu all over the country. Ya mobilize all the forces of KZN where i-tribalist and all reactionary forces beziclear ukubana lanto ayizuba success. Lamsitho omkhulu, the Festival of the Poor, uye waba success kakhulu. Kodwa ke masingene apha ephondweni. Deputy Speaker, bephondweni sinabantu abaningi abangasebenziyo, which is a serious concern. And we are getting worried, siba no worry kakhulu when inkokheli ezinika uxanduva baziphathe zize apha zizoqhayisa into yokubana kule unemployment rate ihigh kangaka. The only thing that we can do into yokubana masingqengqe soyame ngalanto kuthiwa ukuba abantu badepende kurhulumente babe abantu bekwazi becapable ukuthi bangazisebenzela ngokwabo. Ingxaki ngalo rhulumente ukhokelwa nguwe Premier is that even when people they have learned, even when people acquirishele ngokwabo ngezabo indlela umhlaba akubikho kuncediswa. I can tell you now for free, we've raised it last year, the same thing. Abantu bakuthi nokubana sebelimita apini abanandawo bazayozifaka aphi because akukho systems in place to protect and support them. With cannabis, abantu bakuthi ngoku sebene license, uhulumente akanazo imndlela zokuncedisana nabo to access funding. Ungandixelela ke wena kamani uzawuresponda apha ngomso. Uzawuresponda apha ngomso, uzawunixelela bangaphi aba bantu bakwi-farming so basaptile ukuba ba-accesse i-farming, ba-accesse i-support. Ndifuna ke uze nezo statistics. Kamandi ke nansi i-team yakho ihleli pha i-ready iza kudevelopela i-response esizawukwazi nazo sizijonge pha ekomitini ke hold accountable. Mayincedise ke kule ndaba ye-farming. Okwesibini, ndifuna kule crisis kuyo kudingeka into yokubana iinkokheli ezizawukwazi into yokuba le nto ye-load shedding, which is a crisis, ukuthi nisixelele ukuthi ndizamile umamela laa ntetho buyithula, but you have not reached a level where all other political leaders have reached in terms of the country, be it in the municipality level, be it in the provincial level. You have not come to that level with your government in terms of telling us as people of the Eastern Cape, Uguti, how are you going to end load shedding and when? That is what was lacking in your speech. And we think as the incoming government, xandiphinda ndibukele imizuzu yam sakhe sizokucacisa kakuhle ukuthi urhulumente lo uranwa ngabantu abatsha aba-capable uza kwenza ntoni. Instead of your MEC coming here azo addressa the issue, uyadegenerate, usixelela ngeba lies have short legs. Yena wayebanjwe ngapha lo comrade lo ungabhatali masipala nankuya umasipala uyableeda, upresida over umasipala uphinda yena ngababhatali, uzoma apha azothi lies have short legs. Akawuphendula lo mbuzo, but ke siyaqonda uba ngomso uzawube uzo unpacka properly, not la esa story ubusibalisa last week, because you were full of stories and it has been like that for the past 5 years. Ndiyayazi ke uzawuphinda unleashe ke uready pha umakhelwane wami wapha eBhayi u-MEC lo aka social development uready uzawuphinda unleashe uSiphokazi, but makayazi ukuba angaqhayi i-van ngoba ihippo iyeza izaba ndimo zawuvala. And you have not addressed in your speech, you have not addressed indaba ye collapsing health collapse health system. Ndimvile ke umama ezoma apha boldly, ndicimba uzakha sicacisele nangalanto yokuvalwa kwala sibhedlela sapha eKhatkat. Bengicimba uyawukha aventure in nakulo program, because the problem is that urhulumente wakho ufike kukhona izinto ezilungiselelwe for abantu abambalwa. Now ngoku uyakolapsa, instead of to make sure that uyavula abantu abaninji ba-participate. Ngoku for people of Katkat to receive proper health attention, kuzawufuneka ba-travelishe from Katkat to here. And then you can't take us usixelele into ba sisibhedlele lanto ilapha eQueenstown. Ayisosibhedlele. It's just nje intervention. But what we are trying to say is that you have to respond to the real needs of our people. We were contacted because we were on the ground. We are working with our people. As young paint and pictures that we have not received on the ground. The doctors, they went and finished the ComServe, but they are not being employed. The health system is not assisting, is not responding to even on people after they have acquired necessary skills. We don't absorb them. Even on the issues of, we are dealing with many issues here when the Deputy Speaker. On the issues of abantwana drug abuse esikolweni, we were there in Alfredo. On the issues of abantwana, social development doesn't get involved and zoom in. What we are trying to raise here, there are possible solutions. We won't leave the platform up until we present the real manifesto of the people, the program of the government in waiting, the government of the EFF, which will answer these simple problems that ezikoyisayo dia, sireti, sayutata, ibeten, ugugile ngokuna 15 ndotenkulu, melba ujoina la comrade, le hambayo, nawe uhambe. Thank you very much, Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Werner. Honorable Werner, thank you very much, but never use this example of 50 years again in your lifetime. Honorable members, I will now invite Honorable Berger from the Freedom Front Plus. 18 minutes, Honorable Member.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Deputy Speaker,
Order, Honorable members.
Honourable Premier, fellow members of the Provincial Legislature, and citizens of the Eastern Cape. As a representative from the Freedom Front Plus, I stand before you today to address the points raised by the Premier in his State of the Province address, as well as those issues that we think should have been addressed. We acknowledge the efforts made towards progress in our province, yet we must also confront the realities that continue to challenge us. The Premier's address
Can you take the mic closer to your mouth, Honourable Member?
The Premier's address highlighted several initiatives aimed at improving the lives of our citizens. However, it is imperative to scrutinise the effectiveness of these measures and ensure that they translate into tangible benefits for the people of the Eastern Cape. As the saying goes, the proof of the pudding is in the eating. We are particularly concerned about the pace of economic development and job creation in our region. While plans have been laid out, the execution and impact of those plans remain to be seen. The youth of our province are in dire need of opportunities that will not only secure their future, but also continue and contribute to the prosperity of our province. As you know, Acting Speaker, there is a saying, don't count your chickens before they're hatched. Furthermore, the state of our healthcare and education systems require urgent attention. It is essential that every citizen has access to quality healthcare services and education that equips them for the challenges of today's modern world. Through you, Acting Speaker, Honourable Premier, while you delivered your SOPA on Thursday, the clinic at the Provincial Hospital in Port Elizabeth were closed due to an unsafe structure. What now? Acting Speaker, as we speak, there are learners in Tsetsikama that has not attended school to date this year. I'll repeat. There are learners in Tsetsikama that has not attended school to date this year. Someone decided to convert the Tsetsikama Primary School into a high school. This decision was made without proper consultation and without the parents or the SGB being involved. There were no proper public participation as required by Section 33 of the South African Schools Act, Act 84 of 1996. About 3 weeks ago, the planned changes were cancelled and the primary school learners came back to school, attending school as normal. Then last week, grade 10 learners were informed that they should attend class at the primary school. This, without a classroom for the grade 10s, no teacher, no LTSM. Currently, those learners are sitting at home. They have not attended one class this year to date. Acting Speaker, maybe someone, anyone, could inform me Why specifically only grade 10s? What about the grade 8s and 9s? There is another issue, specific issue that I would like clarity on, Acting Speaker. Honourable Premier stated, and I quote, "The Eastern Cape is developing over 11,400 megawatts of wind, solar, battery storage and gas power projects that have initiated or finalized environmental impact assessments." I have no idea what this implies. My question to the Premier is, what is the actual current renewable energy capacity of the Eastern Cape? Second question in this regard, does the required infrastructure as far as substations and transmission lines exist to conduct the electricity to the consumers? Acting Speaker, some of the key challenges in our province that the Freedom Front Plus wants to highlight include the following. Municipal dysfunction. There is a significant concern regarding the state of municipalities in the Eastern Cape. 87 of South Africa's 283 municipalities are characterized as dysfunctional. Mismanagement, political instability, corruption, incompetence, and cadre deployment are prevalent issues. Various municipalities in the Eastern Cape has been under administration for some time now, with no improvement, not even hope that they will improve. Financial mismanagement. The financial health of municipalities is troubling, with many experiencing severe stress. The Auditor General highlighted that more than half of the province's 39 municipalities are defaulting, some with liabilities exceeding the entire budget. 11 municipalities in the Eastern Cape are characterized as dysfunctional. Poor audit outcomes. The regression in audit outcomes is alarming, with only a small percentage of municipalities managing to produce quality financial statements and performance reports. This lack of credible financial reporting hinders accountability and transparency. Unqualified personnel. There is a lack of qualified personnel in critical financial positions. For instance, a significant number of chief financial officers in the province do not meet the minimum requirements of their posts, which affect the financial governance and stability of municipalities. The former Enoch Majima local municipality manager, Mzondani, recently faced corruption charges in court, yet she has been appointed as director at the neighbouring Amatole district municipality. Infrastructure issues. Problems as water supply challenges, electricity supply and various basic services have directly affected the functioning of the municipalities, leaving our citizens in despair. Acting Speaker, these challenges highlight the need for a robust oversight, improved governance and capacity building within the Eastern Cape Provincial Legislature to ensure effective service delivery and development in the region. Speaker, it is worth noting that all of the above challenges directly relates to municipal management and governance. In a spirit of constructive engagement, the Freedom Front Plus proposes the following. A detailed audit of the current economic programs to assess the effectiveness and identify areas for improvement. An increased support of resources for small and medium enterprises, which are the backbone of our local economy. A comprehensive strategy to overhaul our healthcare system, ensuring it meets the needs of all citizens with the focus on our rural areas. A re-evaluation of our educational curriculum to better prepare our students for the demands of the job market. Acting Speaker, the Freedom Front Plus would like to have hear from the Premier that he would have talked about the following 4 matters which we believe require urgent attention in our province. First one is community safety. The Freedom Front Plus would like to see the satellite police station in Rocklands outside Port Elizabeth urgently reopened. Also, that urgent attention will be paid to the condition of the subs fleet in the Nelson Mandela Bay Metro. A recent count conducted by CCPEM to determine the number of subs vehicles that are operational determined that there were more than 300 subs vehicles in the Nelson Mandela Bay Metro standing, not operational. These stats are for the Metro only. Education. The Freedom Front Plus would also like to see that the Department of Education will build schools where they are needed, in a community where the learners live. In this way, we can ease the burden on scholar transport. The Honourable Premier stated in his SOPA that 56 schools were built in the province. Though unclear, it seems as if the Premier provided these statistics for the past financial year. On paper, this is incredibly good. I'd like to know how many learners are accommodated in these 56 schools. Water supply. As one of the top priorities, the Freedom Front Plus also want to see that the construction of the Coorney Dam starts sooner than later. It hasn't started. It's starting next year. The Coorney Dam is meant to be built as a storage dam or balancing dam to increase the storage capacity of water purified by the Nooit Gedacht water purification works that supply the Nelson Mandela Bay Metro with potable water. The construction of the Coorney Dam has been on the table for more than 5 years. Acting Speaker, I am asking people to listen to my next sentence. The Skepersvlakte Dam that currently serves as a balancing or storage dam has storage capacity of only 2.5 days of Nooit Gedacht's capacity. This is a major risk. Lastly, I will want to talk about manganese. Finally, the Freedom Front Plus would like to hear that Transnet will start the construction of the new manganese terminal in the Port of Nuga as soon as possible. From a financial point of view, it simply does not make sense to transport manganese from Hottesdal to Kuga or East London by road, unless you own the trucks. Formal rail transport with an equipped manganese terminal in the Port of Nuga will curb so many of the current manganese problems. In conclusion, Acting Speaker, while we recognize the steps taken by this government, we urge for a more proactive and results-driven approach. The Freedom Front Plus remains committed to working alongside all stakeholders to build a brighter future for the Eastern Cape. Good governance should not be so difficult. Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honourable Member. I will now invite African National Congress, Honourable Manilu City. Honourable Member, you've got 13 minutes. I will remind you where 2 minutes is left.
Thank you, Honourable Deputy Speaker. Greetings, Honourable Premier, Honourable Van, Honourable Chair of Chairs, members of the Executive Committee, all members of the Legislature, DG, and your team of HODs, all the officials that are here, our distinguished guests, and all present. Honourable Deputy Speaker, I want to extend my greetings to everyone that is present in this august house today, as we gather here to engage in the debate of the real state of the province address, dispelling any misconceptions akin to the imaginary state of the province portrayed by our colleagues here in blue, as we reflect on the comprehensive account given by the Honourable Premier Mabuyane, covering not only the 6th administration, but the 30 years of ANC governance. It is essential to recognize the diverse mandates of the political parties in this legislature. We have the African National Congress, which is committed to transforming the lives of our people.
the DA that is committed to preserving white capital interest by its white deployees, the EFF, truly committed in their unruly behavior, and of course the United Democratic Movement in reminiscing about the Bantustans. Speakers from the opposition have regrettably offered nothing but empty attempts to discredit the State of the Province address, lacking a fundamental comprehension that practice without theory is sterile. Indeed, our duty as the representatives of the people of the Eastern Cape is to critically engage on the contents of the Premier's address and outline how these bold pronouncements will translate into tangible programs by respective line departments. The people of the Eastern Cape and South Africa expect us to provide detailed accounts of the past 30 years and, more importantly, the term of the 6th administration. This is vital for voters to make informed decisions during the upcoming elections, May 29. Date. Honorable members, our government bears the responsibility of redressing historical injustices and restoring the dignity of our people, guided by the ideals of the Freedom Charter, the PDP, and NDP, while prioritizing the ANC's election manifesto. While significant strides have been made in delivering houses to the people, there is acknowledgement that more needs to be done. The Honorable Premier highlighted the construction of 24,000 houses in the past 5 years, providing proper shelter to families in both urban and rural areas. The 2022 census reported a 20.4% increase in households living in formal dwellings over 10 years, reaching 83.6% in 2022. Further, the 2022 census reported a remarkable 20.4% increase in households living in formal dwellings in the province, reaching 83.6%. Access to piped water inside their dwelling has risen from 18.3% to a whopping 49.5%, this contributing to the extended home ownership and increase in productive assets for our people. However, despite this substantial government-led investment, the demand for shelter continues to grow due to factors such as urbanization, and urban migration for economic opportunities and the growing population. Now, balancing historical underdevelopment in our rural areas with foresight for rapid urbanization becomes important. The government's perspective on housing, rooted in human rights, is essential for restoration of our people's dignity. This existing reality suggests that whilst the province has to attend to issues of historical underdevelopment in rural areas, we have to have the necessary foresight to plan for rapid urbanization and for demand for urban settlement. Historically, the government perspective on housing emerged from a human rights framework, the constitutional right to shelter inspired by the Freedom Charter. Recognizing the need for strategic planning, we did convene the first of its kind, Human Settlements in Daba, in collaboration with the Nelson Mandela University, which aims to establish the unified conceptual clarity on sustainable integrated human settlement. In the 2023 financial year, we faced challenges with 87 stalled human settlement projects. Through strategic interventions, 58 of those projects have been unblocked, translating to 12,559 housing units, with plans in place for the remaining 29 projects. The issuing of title deeds remains a priority, emphasizing the restoration of citizens' dignity. While pre-conveyancing activities posed challenges, these have been resolved, and we aim to issue title deeds simultaneously with the house handover. Our long-term focus includes the upscaling of housing opportunities and blocking of the blocked projects, accelerating title deed restoration, empowering our SMMEs, upgrading informal settlement, and applying sustainable building technologies. Honorable Deputy Speaker, there's been a groundswell cry over load shedding, with some from the desperate opposition forces, the Honorable Vena Kanje, labeling it as a fundamental failure of the ANC-led government. Shame is what they failed to also attribute to the ANC is that the ANC connected rural areas, squatter camps, shacks, farms, and everyone to the grid, and therefore inherited the load responsibility. Honorable Speaker, xa sithetha ngoTitswalo, sithetha ngomuntu ofana no-Honorable Magaqa, who because of the ANC-led government strides, stays in the government-subsidized dwelling, i-RDP house, nguTitswalo ke lowo, who is in his daylight dreaming will only speak about Western Cape engazange wayibona, instead of praising the rural development led by the ANC government, which benefits people of his hometown, the jobs and the activation of the rural economy that comes with construction of Msikaba Bridge, which will change the lives of the people for the better. The work done by the ANC-led government under your capable leadership, Premier Mabuyane, can be testified by young people of the province who are proud beneficiaries of Istalo Youth Fund, which continues to change their lives, creating jobs. The provincial government has trained more than 800 young people in various skills such as cell phone repairs, beautification, and other areas. The Presidential Youth Employment Initiative alone created 172 jobs in our province for young people who worked at the as education assistant and reading champions in our schools. This work is additional to the injection of UNEFSAS, which continues to change not only the lives of the students, but their families, as some are first graduates in their families and thereby breaking the intergenerational poverty. The ANC-led government is deliberate in making strides to rejuvenate the rural economy. Ngoko ke sithi hambani ke ngoku niye kubo bonke abemi beliphondo nibaqoqozisa ukuba ngomhla ka-29 kulo nyaka bavotele i-ANC. Nithi kubo xa kunamhlanje abantwana bazalwa kwizibhedlele zoluntu mahala, banikwe izatifiketi zozalwa mahala, bagoduke baye kwizindlu zomxhaso mahala, bafunde kwizikolo ezingabizi imali, bathi xa befika esinaleni i-ANC ibanikwe uNEFSAS. That is only done in South Africa, not anywhere else in the world. Njengoko ke kubhaliwe kuLuka 27 verse 22. Hambani niyombikela uYohane izinto enizibonileyo nenizivileyo. Okokuba imfama zibuya zibone, iziqhwala ziyahamba, abaneqhenqe bayahlanjululwa, izithulu ziyeva. In conclusion, Deputy Speaker, the ANC-led government's effort in rural development aims to rejuvenate the economy and improve the lives of our people. As we approach the elections of the May 29th, let us unite in support of the ANC, acknowledging the tangible impact of our policies. Honorable Bobby Stevenson, as you go to your well-deserved retirement, Dimvilu Dia, wishing you well, want to extend our genuine well wishes. However, it seems you not only retired but left with an already low bar from the DA-led opposition benches. Without you. Nonetheless, we appreciate your service. Having detailed the government's work, we affirm that the ANC leads and the ANC lives.
Wow. Thank you very much, Honorable Manilu City. You've done well with your time. I will now invite the Democratic Alliance, Honorable Hendricks. Honorable Member, you've got 10 minutes, and I will advise you accordingly. Your 10 minutes is now starting.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, Honorable Premier, Honorable Members of the House, Honorable Leader of the Opposition, the administration, members of the public, and media present, as well as a special welcome to the mysterious icon in the gallery, Tsintwalo. Honorable Speaker, the building blocks of a prosperous country is firmly entrenched in the quality of the education system. The importance of a good education can never be underscored, without which the opportunities to a life of self-determination that is based on one's talent and one's experience becomes exponentially more difficult. Honorable Premier, Your Honor ceremoniously indicated while a small portion of learners experience new schools, thousands of learners are attending schools in buildings that are dangerous, falling apart, and still using pit latrines. Honorable Premier, stating the problem is not fixing the problem. Premier, you further indicated that we need an estimated 8 billion rand every single year to bring all schools in the province to a conducive state for teaching and learning. But the current school infrastructure budget is 1.6 billion a year. If you do the simple maths, in a country where the maths literacy is the lowest in the world, where honorable ministers struggle to read a 7-figure number, this province has a shortfall of 6.4 billion year on year. By 2030, our backlog on infrastructure, repairs and maintenance and refurbishment will be around 40 billion rand at the current pace, which is the current budget of the whole Eastern Cape Education Department. Chairperson, you do not have to look far for a rescue plan. If you look towards the Western Cape, just across the Blowcrans Bridge, new schools are built in 60 days, flat, car, finish and clar. National Treasury has provisionally allocated an additional 2.5 billion rand to the rapid school building program in the Western Cape, a sign of confidence that funds will be utilized for the intended purpose. Chairperson, as money is exiting the Eastern Cape, it's entering the Western Cape. And this Honorable MEC of Zilch, this is not because of identity politics, this is because of good governance. It is an indictment on the Department of Education that the infrastructure conditional grant has underspent a whopping 645 million rand since 2019. How do you explain this under-expenditure to the teachers and learners at David Livingstone Senior Secondary School in Nelson Mandela Bay, where the project to renovate that school started in 2015 and is still incomplete? The initial budget for the school was 71.1 billion rand. To date, the department has spent over 91 billion rand on this project, which has overrun by 27 million rand. There is still 12.8 million rand to complete the project. This is ridiculous. Though we praise the class of 2023 for their resilience to obtain success despite the odds that were stacked against them, this pass rate of 81.4% masks two things. One, an absurdly low pass requirement that taints the victory that the department wants to proclaim. And two, a high dropout rate of over 42,000 learners who disappeared from the education department system between grade 10 and grade 12. When you factor in these missing learners, these dropouts into the equation, the pass rate for the province drops from 81.4% to a miserable and pitiful 56.4%. This is not the only broken promises and obvious shortcomings of the department. There are 836 schools across the Eastern Cape that have been positively identified as containing asbestos, placing tens of thousands of learners, of school children, at the risk of developing respiratory problems and cancer. How much of these asbestos have been replaced? The cost of removing dangerous material has been estimated at a staggering 3.8 billion rand. I ask, is this too much to pay for the health and safety of our learners? In 2020, you referred to mud schools as an eyesore in some of our villages and blamed the past. But listen, in April 2018, there were 436 mud schools in the province. As of January 2024, there are 438 mud schools in the province. Which past are you blaming? 6 new hostels were earmarked to be built under this administration in the last 5 years. Only 3 were built. 0 were upgraded. That is 50% of our target. I fear, Honorable Speaker, that percentage the ANC will not get on the 29th of May 2024. As of November 2023, 427 schools in the province still make use of pit latrines, with only 21 schools in the 23-24 financial year eradicated, with only 2 months left in the financial year. Agbare premier, dis 'n sies vir jou en jy kan dit opskep met jou houtlepel. Schools hit by disasters still await your intervention, Honorable Premier. Or should they do what the principal of Kala Primary School did by taking matters into our own hands and refused to take the blatant neglect of the Department of Education and not lie down? Maybe you don't know about this, Honorable Premier, but 5 weeks ago, Mercedes-Benz stepped in and appointed gift of the givers to complete the repairs and renovations to the school. Beautifully tiled floors, new roofs, painted walls, and creating a school that was even better than it was before the storm. I was there, I saw it. Have you been there, Honorable Premier, or are you waiting for a red ribbon to be cut before you go there? In 2020, in our attempt to create equality in education, or in your attempt to create equality in education, you must be reminded that equality is not just about quantity, it's a matter of quality. Let me reiterate, Honorable Premier, equality, not e-quantity. The billable is nothing less than another attempt to increase state control and facilitate state overreach. Tsitsikamma Primary, as mentioned by Honorable Burger, is an institution of learning that has become a school of choice in the area of Tsitsikamma. To the surprise of the teachers and the learners and the parents, the Department of Education announced its intention to convert this primary school into a secondary school and deploy those learners into nearby already overcrowded primary schools, wiping out the future legacy that this school might have had into ANC nothingness. They never completed the lawfully required consultation process, irregularly appointed a principal to a school that is unregistered. And to hide this blunder, the same registration number that belonged to the primary school was given to the high school. A primary example of state overreach. State control is on the rise, and public freedoms are being compromised and increasingly limited. The DA believes that more can be achieved in devolving public powers to where it is sensible and practical, where the service is rendered closer to the people, where the schools belong to communities and they are more aware of their children's needs than any politician. 1 minute, Chief.
Yes.
The DA believes in quality education throughout a child's academic career and does not simply focus on pushing numbers for a certain pass rate. Part of the DA's plan to rescue South Africa is to triple the number of grade 4 learners who can read for meaning. It's only the DA that can rescue South Africa. Honorable Premier, as I conclude, you are forewarned, and I quote, "Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere." I close quote, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And as the Springboks echoed, julle weet nie wat ons weet nie. Maar julle gaan na die 29ste Mei gaan julle presies weet wat ons weet. Cry the beloved country, we will cry no more. It's time to rescue South Africa.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member. Honorable Members, our last speaker before lunch will be Honorable Meth, MEC for Health, on behalf of the African National Congress. Over to you, ma'am. 13 minutes. 13 minutes.
Thank you, Honorable Deputy Speaker, the Honorable Premier, the EXCO, Honorable Chief Whip, Chair of Chairs, Honorable Members, traditional leaders, all the people of the province, DG, HODs, and CEOs of our entities, Abahlali beMpuma Kapa, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. We welcome the opportunity to participate in the last SOPA debate of the 6th administration, and further welcome a well-balanced State of the Province address by the Honorable Premier, which accounted to the people of the Eastern Cape. The SOPA captured and hit the nail on the head as it was robust and articulating economic growth of the province, but also acknowledging that progress can only be realized through having healthy and educated citizens. Siyabulela nkulu baphathiswa. We are indeed forging ahead behind you as we are seamlessly progressing in building the Eastern Cape that we want, together with the masses of our people and who are having their hope pinned on the African National Congress. Qinisekile ke Premier ukuba loo nto bazayicacisa ngomhla 29 kaMeyi. Mayihlome. Honorable Speaker, Deputy Speaker, we just experienced yet another magnificent and electrifying event of our manifesto launch, where we were given the line of march by our President, the President of the ANC, and the country. Siyabuya. Ours today is to talk on the progress of providing quality health, laying foundation for NHI, and the gains that our education system have made. It is indeed a journey of many thousand miles that began with one step of our people when they voted for the ANC into power in 1994. Impulas Galuchak ezasiya ngeke river ezibhedlela. Kodwa now they can just call an ambulance to pick them up wherever they are. We had illiterate people who had to choose between plowing white farmers' fields for a plate of food to a young age, at a very young age, or going to school on an empty stomach and go on for days without food. All that is history now because of the doors of learning that were opened by the African National Congress. Siyabulela African National Congress. Yes, Gasamlomo, whenever I hear or see unbecoming and embarrassing behavior from one of our own who left the African National Congress, which we do not have a problem with that, by the way, but only when they start to spew vial of bitterness towards the liberation movement. That is when I am reminded of the words of Benjamin Burombo, one of the prominent labor union activists in the history of Zimbabwe, who once said, I quote, "Each time I want to fight for African rights, I use only one hand because the other hand is busy trying to keep away Africans who are fighting me," close quote. I want to say to my fellow people in the red overalls, sizonilwela ngaso noba sinye isandla, nyode nithi kumdado bawo. Ngapha ngakuthi inkwenkwe xa izawuya esuthwini, yayiqale itshitshe. Xa yenza loo nto ke imosha yonke into, de amanye achithe namanzi emadramini, akhabe imbiza kuphekiwe. Phofu kwayona inxibe yamadlavu, yashiya impahla zayo endlini. Aziphathise okwabantu abaphazamisekileyo ngokwengqondo. Phofu bengenawo nomqhwithi. Yabona ke, laa nxibe red overalls apha eParliament, amachitsha, andiwazi ukuba ade ayanini esuthwini. Honorable Deputy Speaker, a simple picture that I can draw for the people of the Eastern Cape to really appreciate and embrace NHI is to say, when we talk about NHI, we refer to a situation when 3 people are involved in an accident. One is on a medical aid and is not that critical. The other 2 are critical and are about to lose their lives. In that situation, an ambulance from private sector that is paid by the medical aid with government funds will not even look at the critically injured 2, but will take their person to a private hospital and let the 2 die because they do not have medical aid. That is sadly their policy, it's their law. Look, and when our EMS personnel of the department arrives at the accident scene, Abakhet, they assist everyone regardless of any social status, medical aid or not. That is our policy, that is our law. After all, Section 27 of our Constitution states that everyone has the right to have access to health care services, including reproductive health. The second scenario is if a person got stabbed in front of a private hospital, nothing can be done to that person by the private hospital. If a person has no medical aid until a government ambulance takes the person to public hospital, that is the cruelty and the reality that the NHI is here to deal with. No people shall be denied health care in any hospital with or without medical aid. Now, when you get people who oppose and frown upon NHI, you must be really scared of them. Honorable Deputy Speaker, the President is looking for the pen to sign the NHI bill into law. Honorable Deputy Speaker, ANC adopted the policy of universal health coverage since it took over in 1994 in the ANC Green Book. ANC government has been relentless in improving quality health care for the last 30 years.
In the 30 years, we have revitalized more than 30 district hospitals in our province and 4 regional hospitals. Our flagship facilities, Sislia Makwan in PCM, Frere Oncology Unit, Frontier Chris Hani Hospital, the Nelson Mandela Academic Hospital, the St. Elizabeth Hospital, and many others, including the old smaller clinics that have been upgraded into bigger facilities, offering many healthcare packages. Ijinkwenkwana Clinic, Genge, Etimkanduli, Sakela, Ekunu, to mention just a few. Flagstaff CHC and Meche are the latest beneficiaries of this 30-year major health infrastructure upgrade. Under apartheid, access to advanced healthcare services like oncology was only limited to the privileged white people. We can now, under the ANC-led government, brag about modernized diagnostic and therapeutic healthcare technology platform for all citizens, irrespective of race or socio-economic class. The construction of the new oncology unit in Nelson Mandela Hospital is another effect that we cannot dispute. In 1994, TB was a major killer amongst black people in South Africa and the Eastern Cape in particular, with TB hospitals full to the brim. 30 years of ANC in government, that is no longer the case. Yes, TB is still prevalent, but there is decline in TB fatality rate. It is a known fact, and that these hospitals are now practically empty, and some are being repurposed alongside this monumental achievement. Maternal and neonatal fertilities are also in the decline. Who would have known that when you are diagnosed with drug-resistant TB, you can now benefit from a shorter regimen for the management of drug-resistant TB. It used to be 24 to 36 months to treat drug-resistant TB in the hospital setting, but now we can treat at a community level with shortened regimen for a maximum of only 6 months. The country and the world witnessed this when we, as the Eastern Cape, we had 2 patients in our Joseph Pearson TB hospital in Gqeberha receiving the first 6 months BPL regimen for the treatment of drug-resistant TB on the 1st September 2023. When we joined the world in commemorating the World TB Day on the 26th of March 2024, these patients will have completed their 6 months regimen and will be invited to share their positive experiences as our own developers. This is a government that cares for the health of the people of the Eastern Cape. Within NHI context, this is free treatment that is accessible to everyone in the province, regardless of their ability to pay or not. This is a global measurement of a functional health system in any country. Eastern Cape Department of Health is benefiting immensely from the Premier's program of broadband rollout. As of today, more than 60 hospitals are now implementing the digitization program. This will go a long way to make sure that we are dealing with a big elephant in the room of medical legal. Somlomo, the ECDOH has strengthened its legal services capacity and the fully fledged unit now in place. The establishment of this unit has been by the department has helped us to reduce the annual spending of close to R1 billion, which is R4 billion in 4 years, to only 450 million in 2 years. We are hoping that this amount will further be reduced as we move forward with the service that we are offering to our people, because we are also strengthening the issue of the clinical services. All these services, Honorable Deputy Speaker, combined speak to the NHI readiness plan. Since 1998, we've got Nelson Mandela Fidel Castro Medical Program that has produced a total of 351 doctors. Access to health care by all people is a testament of working government of the ANC. By its definition, health is not absence of diseases. It is a state of physical, mental, and emotional well-being. As the Premier was articulating, now the life expectancy of our people has improved because of the collaborations of our department, of government departments, including our partners in private sector and NGOs. On infrastructure, Honorable Deputy Speaker, we have boosted the investment, or we boast ourselves with the investment of more than 9.6 billion rand on capital infrastructure. As we speak now, we've got hospitals that are in the pipeline at a cost of close to 1.7 billion rand. That is the Tulele and Bambisan in the deep rural areas of this province. In fulfilling our constitutional mandate, we are guided by wise words of our President, President Nelson Mandela, who once said, I quote, "Health cannot be a question of income. It is a fundamental human right," close quote. We are under no illusion and will not stand here and act as if there is no challenges, but we can all agree that compared to 1994, the quality of health and care has drastically improved in the Eastern Cape. Despite all departmental challenges during 2022-23 financial year, the department maintained medicines availability at 70%. This means although not 100% of majority of our people received their medication, we are continuously striving to improve our medicine availability. Section 9 of the NHI proclaims that the National Health Insurance Fund is hereby established as an autonomous public entity as contained in Schedule 3A of the Public Finance Management Act. While Section 11 asserts that the fund may employ personnel and must comply with all applicable labor laws, purchase otherwise acquire goods, equipment and land buildings and other kind of movable or immovable properties. From only these few clauses, it can be deduced that NHI is the ultimate goal that we are all waiting for, so as to win the match and say that we have won the liberation that we sought to transform and improve quality of life of our people. We need no further delays, especially at the height of unemployment. The goal of the NHI is to ensure equity and equal access to quality healthcare services. The opponents of NHI will be judged harshly by history. The threat about the imagined exodus of health professionals is just an imagination and figmentation of the minds of those who want to oppose everything, including things that help the people that they say they represent. We refuse to believe that just because the poor and the rich will be entitled to same level of access to quality health care, health professionals will now all of a sudden leave our country. Such health professionals will be in violation of their oath. Many nations of the world implemented their versions of universal health coverage, and we shall do. And on education, we are grateful, Honorable Premier, by the fact that you are now naming your year awards or Best Achievers Awards under our own civil servant, Dr. Soisile Nugu. And Honorable Speaker, we applaud the class of 2023, and we are saying, as we speak now, we've doubled the number of the 900 on NSPN in the inception of 1809 to 1.6 billion. And we are additionally saying the 25.7 billion that was presented by the Minister Enoch Gotongwana for education sector will continue to improve scholar transport. I hear my friends on the opposition benches, and they think they can do better. They never transported no schools, they never fed no kids at school. It is only this government, the caring government of the ANC, that has done that, and it's its policy because it is the architecture of ensuring that lives of the people are better. So we are saying thank you very much, and we are grateful also to our own Tinzwalos who stand on the mountains and are trying to say they are discrediting some of the ANC work that is done to improve the families' lives, and will not be distracted by the spectators of the revolution. Ours is to restore the dignity of South Africans and reduce poverty. I thank you, Honorable Deputy Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable MEC. Mandi tate el tuba lokbulela, honorable members. We have now come to the end of this first part, as we are going to adjourn for 45 minutes for lunch. Honorable Bobby, I indicated that you were in this house and served 7 premiers. And then I forgot to mention that the current Director General, who was the then MEC for Land and Agriculture, ascended to the office of the Premier in 2008 and took us to that transition to 2009 elections. That is completing the picture of your presence here. When you are writing your memos, as we are busy now with a project of naming, renaming, as well as wall of remembrance, we shall all tap from that kind of wisdom. Thank you very much. Honorable members, we will be back here at 2:40, and the Honorable Chair of Committees of Chairpersons will conclude today's afternoon. The session is adjourned.